Hi guys, it's your boy Ducky here. I figured because everybody really hates my beard, now is the perfect time to just get rid of it. So I'm going to do that. And at the same time, I'm going to talk a little bit about my worst list, because I'm sure that's what you want. Just, for context, I'll explain it to you why I actually have a beard. So I work in fast food, and I was up for promotion that I decided to try to do, and I didn't get that promotion. So I kind of grew the beard out of spite. It's the best reason to grow a beard. So that's why the beard's here, and in time I just kind of let it go until, it got kind of out of hand. And now you've been staring at it for lists and lists, and it's been nobody's favorite thing in the world. So here I am, getting rid of it. Make you guys happy. I'm sure we'll have a good time, especially since, in my content for heavily unedited vlogs where I shave my face. So I have done a lot with the Worst Committee as of now. I'm going through it, I'm editing it, and what I'm seeing a lot of is the same thing. Now, yes, there were some very bad songs this year, but one thing that you always have to remember about me is that all I end up getting my music from is the radio. I know that Billboard will tell you that all these songs were in the top 10 for weeks at a time, and I absolutely never heard them. There was never a reason for these songs to be a part of my life, therefore I didn't make them a part of my life. It's actually a big reason why my list is a lot of stuff that people don't ever put on their list because it's stuff that I more or less hear, nobody else does. And B is basically just radio shit. I would say at the very least be very excited for that video. I have a nice big old intro on its way coming out where I explain a little bit of the format to you guys by being a total asshole. And the fact is you have to sit there and watch me talk about it for a long period of time. So I hope you really like that. Anyway, the things I'd basically like to talk about are artists that I didn't include literally because I didn't hear them. And maybe I actually have a couple insights as to how close I was to maybe involving these people, but So let's start with the rainbow-colored elephant in the room. Tekashi 6ix9ine sucks. He sucks the ass out of everything. And yeah, I understand that he made those two songs that pretty well dominated the top 10 when they existed, except I don't think Gummo actually did. If I'm remembering pretty much incorrectly, I think that was like top 20 for a while. I don't really care, might as well be the same thing. He's ass, you know that already. Clearly you've been going through list season. I got a lot of comments that were like, where's Tekashi 6ix9ine? Here's the thing, he has no radio presence at all. Never did I hear a Tekashi 6ix9ine song on the radio. And maybe you would think that I'm listening to the wrong radio stations. It's entirely possible. But remember, Kiss FM, my favorite in the world, basically where I live. I have 2 good pop radio stations right now, which is hard because when I was living in Cleveland, I had about 4 to 5, and now I'm down to 2 because I moved a little bit west where there's not as much civilization and a lot more country stations, and so I had to deal with what I got. He didn't show up on radio at all, and I did actually put Gummo on my tentatives. And of course, because that song came before the half of the year, it was on my tentatives, and I was thinking about honestly putting it in my so far list. And I remember listening to it and thinking, my God, this is so bad. It's just awful. I mean, you've heard other people talk about it where literally, it's just a Hispanic man yelling the N-word a bunch of times because he's thug as shit or whatever, and you see the appeal. You got your, angry, angsty kids who, see an idol in the man who makes an album cover based on Adventure Time. But it's this thing that goes back pretty far, where literally I went to form the list, and when I was gonna put it somewhere, I realized that I had no idea what the hell it sounded like. I'm like, I remember that this is just fucking awful, but I don't care. I just don't care at all, because thank God for radio. Radio didn't make me care. So when I went to put it on the list, I was like, you know, it's not earnest. I can't put it on the list because I can't even explain what I hate about it until I force myself to listen to it. And I know the idea is popular music, but I'm like, why would I force myself to listen to something like that? And that's going to be a big theme here, is that I don't listen to shit that I'm not forced to listen to. Like, I know that I'm, you know, Mr. Pop Music guy, but the point is that I literally listen to radio all the time. Radio is my idea of popular music. It's literally where I've gotten everything that I've wanted my entire life, is from pop radio. So why would I change that to Spotify? Think of it as something embarrassing too, that you realize that you're going on Spotify, and I know Spotify's not the greatest at supporting artists directly, but I mean, you're literally listening to the guy. You're supporting him. You click on his video on YouTube, you're supporting him. It's all like a support tree, and you're thinking, why would I willingly help this guy do better when I know his stuff is of such low quality? Like, I'm not going to advertise that his shit is bad, because in the end, it makes you listen to more stuff. I'm going to be completely honest. Upon watching some videos in the middle of the summer, that was why I kind of got into Lucid Dreams by Juice WRLD. And I can't say that it was because I watched videos because people said it was so bad. When it definitely hit radio, I understood, yeah, this is definitely the worst thing of this year, without a doubt, to me, because it hit radio. And in comparison's sakes, I mean, nothing is as bad as that on radio, to me at least, of course. I mean, I'm the only one who put whatever it takes on their video, even though Dan Reynolds can shut his mouth whenever he damn well pleases. Another big part of 6ix9ine that I like to consider is, do you remember in 2017 when It's Everyday Bro hit the radio? I felt the same way about it. I'm like, it's a shit meme, basically. I'm not gonna take my time to listen to something that's a shit meme, because that's what it is. It's a shit meme. I mean, you'll see it on the committee list. It's gonna get really high because, you know, it's terrible. But, you know, I just don't see myself getting bothered by songs exactly like that. And that brings us to the next thing I didn't include. Now, I hear a lot of people talk about Tay-Bo Tay. Tay-Bo Tay, you know, honestly looks awful, and it sounds awful, and, you know, the more I hear of it from list to list to list, the more I can agree it's pretty bad. You realize, and this is completely hypocritical because Lemon is on my best list, that song hit like number 36, right? That song barely did anything. Like, I don't understand how you people are hearing these songs, but I mean, the whole reason that I would hear a song and include it is because, you know, I was exposed to it. Did you guys seek out a 7-minute song that had like 5 guest artists and just kept rambling on forever? And the same thing is, don't get me wrong, it's god-awful, and you guys are right, it's shit, it's really bad, and I can't disagree with it. I get that stupid main line stuck in my head all the time now because I watched all your guys' videos. But like, I just can't be bothered by it. Because who the heck cares? It's that simple. Like, I think you're caring about the wrong thing. And of course, I am going over reggaeton in general. I mean, I know, like, so I mean, if you watch Leo's video or you watch Douche's video, you're gonna see, of course, a lot of songs like that. And, you know, stuff like X and stuff like Mia, and I can't even think of any more because in reality, I was completely affected. The complete irony is that, of course, I have started keeping songs for 2019 for my lists to come. And yes, there is a reggaeton song in my worst songs for next year already, which is, you know, about a first for me, because I never do reggaeton songs. It's just, you know, I think finally now radio is catching up, and the instant you put a producer on it, they think that it's an acceptable song for all audiences. Honestly, it's the same deal. All these songs don't affect me at all, and I'm like, I'm not gonna go out and search these, even if they make the top 40 and they make the Billboard end of year. Because literally, you say the same thing, these lists should be based on the Billboard end of year Hot 100, but of course, trade secret here, I start scripting my list in November, at the beginning of November. And if a song comes along that's bad enough, I will edit my list in a way in which I can put it in. But the thing is I know what I want on my list before then, unless it comes along to really ruin the end of my year. So basically, songs that barely affect the top 40 and I don't get to hear don't make my lists, while songs like I Like Me Better by Loud, which I don't think breached the top 20, I heard the shit out of, because it's a generic white guy with a pickup song that ends up getting picked up by all radio stations around me, because I live in the whitest part of Ohio basically possible. I'm just kidding, I really don't. Ohio is a very, very white place. But yeah, that is why I did not have any reggaeton, no te bote. I kind of thought about putting te bote in my third list, which you'll see here soon, and you'll understand why I thought about it. But literally in the same vein, I was like, why would I even talk about it? Even though it literally fits my third list. So with that out of the way, probably the third and most surprising to people who follow me for stuff I didn't involve on my worst list.
Cool, I'm upset.
Yeah, I made an entire, enormous, hugely scripted video on Scorpion and what it did to the Billboard Top 40, Hot 100, oh my god. What it did, how many records it set, you know, the usual shit that Drake pulls here. The thing is it's the same deal, where radio didn't really pick up on it, but again, you'll see some on my third list where I talk about some Drake songs. But in reality, in the end, there are some really bad Drake songs, but I just don't care about them. And while a lot of those songs are definitively terrible, it's just at the end of the day, I didn't hear them on radio, and at the same time, they just weren't the worst part of Scorpion. About as far as I disagree with that is that stupid Michael Jackson song. No offense to Michael Jackson, but Drake ripped probably one of the worst things he ever recorded. And, you know, it already doesn't sound very good. You can cite me on how much I hate I Like It. It's one of those things where I think the sampling sounds like complete garbage, and in reality shouldn't have existed at all. But there are songs on Scorpion that are so much worse than Nonstop, I'm Upset, anything else that you really want to get offended about, that I just didn't care about it. In the end, you'd argue to me, really, how bad is Never Be the Same? I would say, you know what, Never Be the Same wouldn't go away. I couldn't stop hearing it, and it's got literally probably the worst singing gimmick I've heard in years. So like, I don't feel comfortable putting something on there even though that album really drove me crazy. By the way, this is a recommendation for Andrew Prep's top worst songs of the year, because man, that guy, he fucking nailed it. He really crushed the whole thing. He can start making these videos on these fucking Drake album films. I swear to God, I'm done. So anyway, that's why there's no Drake on my list, because really he didn't offend me that badly. And I'll say the same thing in terms of basically Guile Chester from last year. Guile Chester did way more to make me angry than anything off Scorpion did. Because that song is just completely worse than anything that you guys think you were forced to listen to this year. So I guess it's based on comparison, but I mean really, again, it's all subjective. And what you hate, you hate. I didn't really hate all those Drake songs that much. If you saw, a lot of people thought that that video ended up being kind of positive towards Drake. In the end, it's an album that I think is an overall failure, but it's better than it could have been. And that's why I like it. And now I'll just go into things that, you know, I thought of. Basically, those are the big three I was trying to hit. Other things that I try to think about that probably didn't hit. Mainly anything that Drake made popular. Yes, Baby, Look Alive, that's stuff that I never hear. So, why would I give a shit about something that really doesn't affect me? What else? What else? I'm not a big fan of a lot of the Halsey hits. I don't know if I've really talked about any of them just because I haven't watched any best lists yet. I'm recording this on January 9th, and I have not watched any best lists yet as I have basically made the worst of committee script, and I've gotten most of the way through the lists. I don't have all the lists yet because they're just not out, so I'm basically sitting on that. At the same time, you're going to get my best list before I release that. I'm probably going to release that committee video and then maybe this. No, I have to release this because I'm going to be clean shaven and continuity. So, you know, that's life. Anyway, the Halsey hits. East Side, I think, is pretty middling and annoying. What else do we got? I don't want to talk about any that I'm going to end up talking about in the third list. Again, as I said, Bad at Love is not bad at all. It's just kind of fine because it could have been good, but the production is agonizingly terrible. Without Me, it's a carryover from Him and I. You know what I think about Him and I. Halsey lost me after some song. I don't know if I want to talk about which Halsey song I like a lot, because I think I might talk about it in a later video at some point. But yeah, Halsey really kind of didn't do much for me this year. And she was basically on every other song, so. It's life. What else? What else? Shrek. Never heard his song. So what do you guys think of Baby Shark? That's like a good song, right? Haven't heard it yet. I assume it's really good. Sounds like an original idea. So I'm there. Kind of looks like, what do you call that genre? K-pop. Sounds like a K-pop group. We'll see. I think I'll listen to it later. God, last year, what the hell else did I miss? I do this committee thing, and again, behind the scenes trade secret, I do everything by hand, which I really shouldn't do anymore. And by hand, I mean I do it on paper and not in an Excel file. But if in an Excel file, it would probably be really easy, but I don't know. You know, I script on paper, I write those lists on paper. I like the feel of paper. I am an old person. I told you I turned 26 this year. Ooh. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I actually put on there that I remember looking at and thinking, man, everybody really hates that, and I didn't. I guess the only thing that's coming to my mind is I Fall Apart. Like, shit. I know there's so much hate for I Fall Apart. That might be my fucking favorite Post Malone song. And everybody's like, oh my god, it's so bad, he sounds so terrible. I'm like, well, it's better than Rockstar. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't really know. Why don't you guys tell me, what did I forget? I feel like somebody left a comment about something else. You know, a lot of you guys didn't post your lists as a comment anymore, and that kind of surprised me. There's usually a lot of that. Just a little surprising. I mean, I'm not telling you guys to go over there and do it right now. I mean, you know, you got your list, you can hold on to it. Anyway, that was fun. Thanks for joining me for that, and I will see you on the worst of committee, since I haven't recorded that. Now I gotta do that. So, goodbye.